All right, let's talk about something that's got a lot of people in California fired up. There's a new mandatory fee coming to millions of energy bills. It's a flat charge, and it is causing a ton of controversy. So today, we're going to break down exactly what it is, who it's going to affect, and why some people are calling it incredibly unfair, all based on a recent analysis that's really been making the rounds.
So here's the number at the very center of this whole debate, $288. That's a brand new mandatory fee that's going to be added to every single PG&E household's bill every year starting in March of 2026. Or think of it this way, that's an extra $24 every single month before you even flip on a light switch.
Okay, so you're shelling out an extra $24 a month. That leads to the really obvious question, the one you're probably asking right now, what am I actually getting for this money? What is this charge for?
Well, get this. According to the analysis we're looking at, this fee isn't for any electricity you actually use. It has nothing to do with your power consumption. It is, apparently, for the privilege, and I'm using their word here, of simply being connected to the grid. You're basically paying a monthly fee just for having a meter on the side of your house.
All right, let's dig into the nitty-gritty. We're going to look at how PG&E is trying to frame this new charge, and then we'll see how critics, like the author of this piece, say it's actually going to impact people's wallets. So on one hand, PG&E is saying, hey, this isn't even a new fee. They've even got this little graphic on their site that shows a sample bill actually going down. But, and this is a huge but, the analysis points out something crucial in the fine print. That example they use, it's for a very high usage household, someone burning through 500 kilowatt hours a month. So the real question is, what happens if you're someone who actually tries to conserve energy?
And that really gets to the heart of the criticism, doesn't it? Because this is a flat fee. The argument is that it actually ends up punishing the very people who use the least amount of power. I mean, think about it. Retirees who are on a fixed income, people who are diligent about their energy use to save a few bucks, and especially solar customers who are generating their own power. The less electricity you use, the bigger that $24 fee is going to look on your bill.
Okay, so from there, the analysis takes a sharp turn. It starts looking at the money, and it paints a picture of a relationship that's less like a partnership and, well, a lot more like a casino. And this is the number that really jumps off the page, $17 million. That was the total compensation for PG&E's CEO in 2023. We're talking salary, bonuses, stock awards, the whole shebang. Now, just hold that $17 million number in your head for a second, because at the exact same time, 1 in 5 PG&E customers, that's over 1 million households, were behind on their payments, and the average amount they owed? Over $700. The contrast is pretty stark. And this is where that casino analogy really starts to make sense. PG&E has this Power Saver Rewards program. If you suffer through a heat wave with your AC set to 78 degrees, they'll pay you $1 for every kilowatt hour you save. But, and here's the kicker, if you're a solar customer and you're literally generating clean power and sending it back to the grid, PG&E pays you just 8 cents for that same kilowatt hour. Then they can turn around and sell that power to your neighbor for a much, much higher price.
So, who is supposed to be the referee in all of this? Who is supposed to be looking out for you, the consumer? Well, that brings us to the state's regulators, and this analysis takes a really close look at their backgrounds.
Meet the California Public Utilities Commission, or the CPU. It's a 5-member board, and all 5 are appointed directly by the governor. Their entire job, their whole reason for existing, is to regulate utilities and protect consumers from unfair rate hikes. They are the final word on any rate changes from companies like PG&E.
So the analysis starts digging into the resumes of the people making these decisions. Let's start right at the top with the CPUC president, Alice Reynolds. What was her job immediately before this? She was Governor Newsom's senior advisor for energy.
Okay, interesting. Next up, Commissioner Karen Douglas. And her background? Well, she was also Governor Newsom's senior advisor for energy. Came from the very same office.
Then you've got Commissioner John Reynolds. Now, his bio on the CPUC website mentions his previous role was managing counsel for, you guessed it, PG&E. And he didn't just work there. He led the legal team for the very rate case that these current increases are a part of.
And finally, the newest commissioner, Matthew Baker. Now get this. Before his appointment, he was the director of the CPUC's Public Advocate's Office. That's the office whose one and only job is to fight for ratepayers against rate increases. So his job was to fight these hikes, and now he's on the commission that approves them?
So when you look at all these connections, one after another, The analysis summarizes its argument with this pretty blunt quote: "That isn't regulation. That's a club, and you're not in it."
So after laying all of this out, what's the takeaway? I mean, where do you go from here? The analysis doesn't just point out the problem, it actually ends with a really clear call to action for anyone who wants to do something about it.
It suggests 3 pretty specific steps. First, go check your own bill right now for any existing base services charge. Second, go to the CPUC's website. Every single rate case is required to have a public comment period, and you can go leave one. And third, contact your state representatives directly, either by phone or email.
And when you do contact them, the source suggests you ask one very pointed question. When was the last time you held PG&E accountable? The whole point is to put the focus squarely back on legislative oversight.
And that just leaves us with this final, really provocative thought from the analysis. For years, the state of California encouraged everybody to invest in solar. Millions of people did. And then, the rules were changed in a way that really hurts that investment. It just highlights this fundamental, unresolved conflict. How do you promote a clean energy future while also satisfying the business model of an incredibly powerful utility?